Greetings fellow Decepticons, SoundBlaster1987 here with my monthly vlog video for May of 2026. Today, to tie in with the new Maul Shadow Lord series on Disney+, I will be going over, briefly, the history of Darth Maul. Now, spoilers ahead for Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Clone Wars Seasons 3, 4, 5 and 7, Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, Solo A Star Wars Story, and Star Wars Rebels Seasons 3 and 4. So, without further ado, Darth Maul was born the biological son of Mother Talzin, the leader of the Night Sister clan of witches on the planet Dathomir. Taken as a young child by Darth Sidious to be his first Sith apprentice, Maul's life was pretty horrifically tortured by Force lightning whenever Sidious felt he wasn't paying full attention to his training. That in turn amplified Maul's anger, turning him into the perfect weapon against the Jedi, or so Sidious thought. In Star Wars The Phantom Menace, which was set 32 years before the original trilogy, Darth Maul made his first appearance in the franchise as a mysterious, shadowy, hooded figure helping the Trade Federation with their illegal blockade of the planet Naboo. He managed to kill the Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn during their battle in this movie, but was then sliced in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi afterwards. This being sliced in half should have killed Darth Maul, and for a few years it seemed to have done so, within the fandom anyway. But Maul's hatred of Obi-Wan and his anger and his memories of Sidious's training allowed him to meditate through the pain of being cut in half, allowing him to survive long enough to get off-world and basically build a new lower half for himself out of spare droid parts on a junkyard planet somewhere, where he was later found by his long-lost brother Savage Opress during the Clone Wars era. That's when Darth Maul ended up with his General Grievous-looking cybernetic digitigrade legs during Season 4 of the Clone Wars. He eventually gained more humanoid cybernetic legs courtesy of the Death Watch group on Mand'alor, who he teamed up with to create a new crime syndicate called the Shadow Collective. Throughout Seasons 4 and 5 of the Clone Wars, Maul Shadow Lord, and the Star Wars Han Solo movie parts of the storyline. Now, admittedly, I've not read the Son of Dathomir or Dark Disciple prose novels and comic book stories featuring Darth Maul and some of his other storylines, so you'll have to bear with me for any inaccuracies in my description of his life at this point. So, after the Shadow Collective fell apart during Seasons 5 and 6 of the Clone Wars, Maul tried to reclaim Mand'alor once again after having previously murdered its former ruler, Duchess Satine Kryze, in Season 5 of the Clone Wars, which he partly did to get revenge on Obi-Wan Kenobi because he knew about the romantic history between Obi-Wan and Satine at that point. But anyway, Darth Maul did lay claim to the Darksaber, the, black-bladed lightsaber that was a symbol of leadership for Mandalore at one point. And after having been imprisoned by Ahsoka Tano during the second Battle of Mandalore and the start of Order 66, Maul eventually managed to get away, and that's where Maul Shadow Lord comes into things. With a few Mandalorian mercenaries and Dathomirian Night Brother warriors working alongside him, Maul tried to reclaim the Shadow Collective group of mercenaries and crime syndicates that he built up during the Clone Wars, but then the Empire got involved and he had to run away and escape before the Inquisitors could find him. Then, of course, he was also involved with the Crimson Dawn crime syndicate, as seen in Han Solo A Star Wars Story. And by the time of Star Wars Rebels, which takes place a few years before the original trilogy, Darth Maul was now an old man whose skills weren't quite what they used to be, but his hatred for Darth Sidious was still as strong as it ever was after the events of the Clone Wars, since Sidious had murdered Savage Opress in the first Battle of Mandalore. At one point, after being found on a Sith temple, Maul did try to convince Ezra Bridger to turn to the dark side, and he was one of the first to learn the true identity of Darth Vader after his battle with Ahsoka Tano in that same temple. Maul made a few appearances throughout Season 3 of the Star Wars Rebels series, but was finally killed for good by Old Man Obi-Wan Kenobi on Tatooine, thus ending the cycle of Maul and Obi-Wan's constant conflict throughout the Clone Wars era once and for all. Now, I have reviewed an action figure of Darth Maul before on this channel, but sadly that figure does not actually belong to me. It was borrowed from a friend of mine, so I don't have it available for reference in this video. Thanks again for watching. I've been SoundBlaster1987. That concludes my look back at Darth Maul's history. Basically, a man who was taken from his rightful home way too early, tortured to within an inch of his life with lightning, and became a very twisted and bitter individual who saw the true, twisted evil of Palpatine from the shadows, but was unable to do anything about it without revealing himself. So, that concludes my look back at Maul. I've been SoundBlaster1987. Thanks again for watching. My next vlog in June will be the history of Feathers McGraw from the Wallace and Gromit franchise. Till then, my next toy review will be the 4.5-inch Thunderbirds Are Go 2015 Tanusha Kirano or KO action figure. Till then, till all are one, and may the Force be with you, always.